Recently I noticed I got play in the back suspension of my mountain bike. After a bit of investigating, I noticed that it's actually the joints were starting to loosen up in here. So in this video I just want to show you how I made the tools to remove the bearings and how to fit them back again, and a few of the learnings that I came across while I was doing it. I'll put the files up on Printables and Thingiverse, so if you want to work on it, you can. The joints actually contain ball bearing races. In this suspension there's actually 6 pairs of bearings. It's quite a job to replace all the bearings because all the bearings are press fit into the frame. And to make it a bit more complicated, there's actually 5 different sizes as well. To get the replacement bearings, when I took it apart, you can actually see the bearing numbers on the bearings, and I just ordered replacement parts from AliExpress. So this is the part of the mountain bike with the bearings pushed in. We're going to remove one of these. So printed a receiver. So this is basically plastic bush, and it's just the edge is going to touch the parts of the mountain bike. So you can see that in the light there. And on the other side there's the pusher, which is 3D printed bush, and that slots inside there. So some people use socket wrenches, but I find using 3D printed bushes is more accurate, a bit easier, and it's a 10mm bolt, fits perfectly inside this bearing. So you piece it together, use metal washers to protect the plastic, spread the load, and that seats quite nicely. You can see like that. And hold one end is the fiddly bit. And the snapping noise is the bearing popping out. And it's gone loose. So I think it must have been. Right now it's getting there. Oh, it's actually disintegrated. Yeah, so we'll keep going. This bearing is very messed up. It's been on the mountain bike for 8 years. Serious need of replacement. It's got down there. And there you go. It's all cleanly removed. And the bearings inside there. It actually fell apart when it was coming out, but yeah, it's pretty broken. I'm loading a new bearing into this part of the bike now. So the bearing's there, it's got its pusher ring, 0.5mm smaller, washer on this side, frame bushing. So just got to tighten it up. I made this purple X spanner to fit on one end of the bolt. Makes it a lot easier to handle rather than using an adjustable spanner on that side. So unfortunately this gets in the way, so I can tighten it most of the way, and then just going to do it by hand. So just line up the bearing and just tighten it so it's nice and flush. It's kind of tight there. Start to use the spanner. And you can feel that resistance there. That's it, it's all the way. Okay, looks good. It's catching the spanner slightly. Might break my spanner. That's not good. I printed the longer bushing so it shouldn't clash with the frame here. looks good. When the hole in the center of the bearing's bigger than the size of the bolt, I found you've got to extend the bushing out inside the bearing to keep the bolt straight. And do this actually on both sides, otherwise the bearing tends to skew off. Don't know if you can see that, just off to the side. So just reprinting another bushing now with an extension here to slot into this guide area here to keep it all at right angles. Doesn't seem to be a problem when it's on all the other bearings, but this bigger bearing seems to be more difficult to keep straight. Reprinted this with the little insert, so this will slot in and lock in position there. And the same on that side, so it holds the whole thing really squarely. This is the full set of tools that I used. The tool sizes and dimensions will probably vary from bike to bike, given bearings and frame shapes are all a bit different, but hopefully the video will give you a good head start if you want to replace your bearings. I posted the link to the STL files in Printables. That'll be in the description, so you can take a look at that and it'll give you a bit of a head start. Thanks for watching.